This one's personal for me tonight, Grant. We got Oregon versus Indiana. Mr. Uyunglele in the comment section. We got ourselves a ball game. If you guys didn't know, listen to the podcast from earlier in the week. The Oregon fans are getting after me right now. Just to go off a little bit about Oregon, what I'm hearing in the locker room, because we talked about this before. Like, I've been listening to a lot of the media, the press conferences and all that. Oregon is basically making the claim that they were coming off a win on the road against Penn State. They come back home and they overlooked Indiana. It seems like the Oregon players believe that they are better than Indiana, and this is the game they're going to go show it. It's one thing to believe that. It's another thing to talk about that, because for Indiana, the press conferences, you get absolutely nothing. You just get Fernando Mendoza talking about why he has LinkedIn and YouTube on his phone and nothing else. So I think Oregon thinks they're going to dominate this game. And also, Indiana is on the verge of becoming the greatest team in college football history. I want to make that clear. They'd be 16-0 if they won the next two games. Wins over Ohio State, 2 over Oregon if they get a national championship win over Miami, and obviously a Big Ten title. So this team's playing for a lot right now, and you don't even feel like that. You feel like it's just like the blood pressure is just super steady.
Yeah, the Oregon comments are starting to confuse me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I think they're almost searching for a sense of false confidence. Mm-hmm. And not that they need it to be a good football team. Don't get me wrong. I think Oregon is phenomenal, but we're not talking about who's a good team. Both these teams are good. Who's going to win the game tonight? That's what we're talking about. And so on one hand, you got Dan Lanning saying, I was too emotional. I was too fired up. I wasn't the best version of myself. Okay, you were too intense. Then you've got the players saying, no, we weren't intense enough. We overlooked them. Which one is it? How about we just shut our mouths, say Indiana beat us? I remember what that was like on my home field. That's the only time we lost this year, and I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again because that hurt. That we could go with that, but now we're getting to the fact that Dan Lanning's saying one thing, the players are saying the other. It's like, all right, enough, whatever. Let's just wait to see what happens on the field, because I know Indiana is coming off of a 38-3 win in the Rose Bowl, college football's historic venue. They are not overlooking Oregon. They are not looking over these kids. A lot of them are the JMU transfer still. So they were mid-majors. Maybe they came from D2, NAIA programs. They are not overlooking this because they have been overlooked before. They have been overlooked themselves, and they're not going to overlook this opponent when they're one game away from being in contention for a national championship.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't even kids. They're on their second master's degree right now. Like, that's how old they are, 22, 23. And that's another thing, too, which is like the people on the internet who make these debates, like Indiana can't compete with Oregon because Oregon's got the 5 stars. Oregon's got 5 stars. They got 30-something 4 stars, I believe. Indiana has 7 4 stars, 0 5 stars. The stars literally don't matter once you get to college. Like, the stars are given to kids at 16 and 15 years old, and now they're 22, 23. Like, it just doesn't matter. And also, going back to your point on the false confidence, I think that's a really good point there. It feels like Oregon can't handle being Indiana's little brother. It also feels like Oregon can't believe Indiana's that good. And I think for a lot of people, including myself, and I'm sure you have that a little bit too, just because you see the logo, right? You're like, how is Indiana this good, this composed, this dominant? And they are. And I think Oregon, obviously, if you're in it as an 18 to 22-year-old playing for the Oregon Ducks right now, it's that much harder to believe that this Indiana team beat you already and is favored to beat you again. And people are talking about them like they're the greatest thing ever.
It's good. It's got to sting. It has to sting. I went to a Division III school for a year before I transferred to Virginia Tech, and we were the little brother school to someone else in our conference. And I remember we would be at parties, and it would be 2 a.m. We'd all be drunk. We're listening to music. We're dancing, and they would just start chanting "F the other school." And I'm like, why? What is we're just sitting here and enjoying ourselves. Every practice every day was all about, oh, we've got to beat them. We've got to beat them. And I was sitting there, you guys don't get tired of this? You don't find this annoying? Let's actually try to just focus on being better versions of ourselves. Let's try to focus on doing what we want to do. Our lives do not revolve around their lives. So for Oregon, they hear all the Indiana stuff. They hear that people are saying it to them. Indiana beat them on their home field. The thought of Oregon, Nike, the thought of them becoming that little brother and having to live in that world, I could understand why that would be frustrating. And I could understand why they would be so eager to dispel it. But you don't do it at the press conference. You do it on the football field.
Well, everything you're hearing online, like whatever Indiana does, Oregon fans are disputing, at least on the internet. Like the Oregon fans, at least they just can't handle it. Like Indiana goes out and buys players in the portal, and Mark Cuban supports them. Like you guys got Nike on your side for NIL and just resources and all that. But they're like, we don't need to go. Oregon's gotten 0 players in the portal so far, at least as of like yesterday. And Oregon, Indiana's got the #1 portal class in America, #2 class in America. And Oregon's like, well, you don't need to go get transfer portal kids when you build them in house. Like it's working what Indiana's doing. Like we need to tip our cap to that. So there's just a lot of comments being made with Oregon. I don't think the fan base handles this well. I don't think the players are handling it well. And honestly, the mind games that Curt Cignetti is playing with Dan Lanning in the press conference, like he's running laps around it. There was one clip yesterday. It was like, give me 2 things. Give me 2 things that you need to work on. Dan Lanning said, protect the ball, make special teams plays. Curt Cignetti, look, he just like no hesitation. We got to be good on 3rd down, 4th down. We got to win the special teams. We got to win the line of scrimmage. We got to do this, that. And like Dan's like, you thought we were only giving 2, and he's like, I did give 2.
Yeah,
like, messing with them. So it's really, it'll be a fun game. But I think, just as far as the game goes, I don't think this one's going to be close like Miami Ole Miss. It's going to be close, but I feel like the team that wins the game, they are going to enforce their will on the other opponent. Either Oregon's going to get back, and this is going to be the downfall of Indiana, or Indiana's going to come out and be that team.
I agree. I think that this will be a competitive game, but I think the team that wins is going to be up by about 7 points, and they'll kind of hold them there. It's not going to be, I mean, I guess you could say Miami was holding Ole Miss, but Ole Miss did take the lead with 2 minutes left in that football game. I don't foresee that happening. We've both picked Indiana to win this game, but I'm going to make this clear because you're going to have people in the comment section. You guys keep sleeping. You guys keep doubting us. And if Oregon wins, we're going to have people in the comment section tomorrow morning saying you guys are idiots. You didn't believe us. We think Oregon is a very good football team. We think Dan Lanning is a very good football coach. We also feel the same way about Indiana and the same thing about Curt Cignetti. So if you are an Oregon fan watching this, you can't call us stupid or crazy for admiring Indiana. They're the #1 team in the country, #1 seed in the playoff, undefeated, beat Oregon, beat Ohio State. So it's 2 good teams on Friday night. We're taking Oregon, and we'll see how we're taking Indiana, and we'll see how it ages.
I think Oregon already lost the game, to be honest. And this might age poorly, but I just think the behavior of how this team operates when the game's not being played, like Indiana's already won. And that's the difference for me. So I think Oregon's good. Don't get me wrong, but like Oregon, and going back to the comment section, like Oregon was a 7.5 point favorite over Indiana. You are now a 3.5 point dog. Which team's gotten better? Which team's gotten worse? Just in the mind of bookmakers. Oregon got worse.
Did you see the tweet that said Oregon should try to confuse Fernando Mendoza by asking him for fun facts about dinosaurs?
Yeah, I saw that one. There's been some good ones. Then you got Dante Moore coming out. I was too locked in for the Oregon game. What do you mean too locked in for the Indiana game? What do you mean too locked in for the Indiana game? What do you mean?
That's what I've been saying, though. Lanning said the same thing. So the coach and the quarterback are too locked in. The rest of the team was not locked in at all.
So I guess being too locked in is bad if it impacts your play. Like I don't know. I just think I don't need excuses at this point in the season. I need results, and I'm not getting results. So, we'll see what happens. And Oregon beating Texas Tech up is probably the worst thing in the world for their psyche, because I think they did something beating up Texas Tech. And that Texas Tech defense is good, but like I think we could have took 11 of me out there the way Texas Tech's offense was playing, stuck them on Oregon's offense, and we still would have scored 3 points and won the game.
It was a bad thing probably for the Oregon offense. The Oregon defense was really good in that game, but they also we've talked about this. We talked about this before. Go watch the debate if you want to. It's on the channel. Texas Tech's offense didn't really make Oregon's defense work for it. Oregon's defense did a good job, played a good game, but they weren't facing the tallest task in the world.
No, and when you don't score any points, you have no chance. You have a 0% chance of winning a football game when you don't score a single point. So that's what it comes down to. Anyways, Grant, Indiana, Oregon, done with that. Any other comments?
Line just been alternating back between 3.5. I would take the 3.5, whatever you get it at. I would take it. I would also probably, looking ahead, you can get Indiana at plus 134 to win the national championship game. If you're taking Indiana to win this game, I don't see why you wouldn't also take them to beat Miami. So that would probably be the way to go if you are an Indiana bettor.
I agree. And I think for that Miami game, at least, like if you look at how Miami stacks up against Indiana, they probably have the best chance of beating them because of their physicality. But I don't think they have the consistency on offense to beat them. Like in that's what last night showed. Ohio State, they were great. It felt like they were super locked in for that game. Maybe that they'll bring that same version for Indiana. But if they don't finish drives, if they have that same effort that they did against, Ole Miss in the national championship, they ain't winning anything.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Miami had a pick 6 in that Ohio State game too. What are the chances you get that against Indiana? So.
Which set the tone, and then you have the pick 6. I mean, that's set. They're up 7-0 at that point. It would have been 7-3 or 7-7. It's a different ball game if you don't have that pick 6. So, yeah, I agree with you, Grant. I like the plus 134 there.